What's up, party people, and welcome back to another episode of NYC Foodways, your weekly food and culture discussion from the cultural capital of the world. My name is John, and this week's episode is dedicated to rapper Charisma, senselessly cut down at the age of 20, who only needed apple juice to get busy. In the spring of 2016, something wonderful occurred at 7 Ludlow Street on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. The Metrograph Theater opened its doors to the film-going public. This theater, the type of place that was undoubtedly created with people of my cultural demographic in mind, is a lovely setting to take in a long, depressing documentary, an American film classic, or a strange foreign movie that makes you endlessly rant at your uninterested fiancé. The Metrograph was a frequent destination of mine in 2018 and 19, and for a good span of time I was making a written record of each movie I saw there. Your lame-ass BF could never. The Metrograph's snack section is better than most, with a nice variety of imported candy along with jumbo-sized offerings of classic movie house sweets. But for those of you interested in a different type of movie munchable, I suggest a quick trip a couple hundred feet around the corner to Ling Kee Malaysian beef jerky, the subject of today's episode. Ling Kee is located near the intersection of Canal and Ludlow and is easily identifiable by its bilingual red and white awning. Enter and bear witness to one of the most interesting foods on offer in our fair city. I should mention here that Ling Kee has never been written up by the Times and is actually quite well regarded by the notoriously misguided Yelp community, which I chalk up to the fact that it is so unassuming and conventionally unattractive to your common low-energy Yelp user that it keeps most of them at arm's length. This delightful establishment sells a Malaysian Chinese version of bakwa, also known as
肉干
a type of preserved meat with origins in China's Fujian province, but representation in Singapore and Malaysia, and due to the favorable trade winds of migration, thank God, in New York City as well. I haven't looked for it outside of Manhattan's Chinatown, so if there are bakwa spots farther afield, please let me know. Ling Kee isn't the only place in Chinatown to get bakwa, but I find it to be the best by far. Jesus. I'm actually a bit salty about the much greater traffic received by a certain competitor that shall not be named, a competitor that serves a far inferior product but is located in the more touristy part of the neighborhood. But hey, them's the breaks. Hopefully, this video and the millions who see it will change all that. Ling Kee is set up quite differently than the restaurants I tend to favor. Well, it can't even be called a restaurant, really. It's more of a kiosk, which is great, considering what's being done there. But yeah, it's kind of the anti-woos in terms of variety. Its menu as such is limited. They serve essentially one item in multiple preparations, a few with the options of added spice. That's all. It's takeout only, which makes sense because bakwa is eminently portable, does not need refrigeration, and can be eaten anywhere, including in your seat at the movies. Oh, and it's also one of the best things I've ever eaten anywhere in the world, although I've only had it in the US, so I'm sure versions closer to its point of origin are even more revelatory. From what I gathered doing research for this episode, and I would love nothing more than for someone to correct me here, there are two main structural styles of bakwa: extraordinarily traditional and old school, and just your standard traditional and old school. The former is made with thinly sliced meat, and the latter is made with finely minced meat. The sliced version is not as prominently displayed at Ling Kee, so we'll focus on the mincemeat version here. The process involved in making this type of bakwa at Ling Kee, and it should be noted that the product is made entirely on-site, likely lends itself to the extraordinary taste of the end result. It's all done by hand. The meat, most commonly pork, is finely minced, then blended with oil, fish sauce, sugar, soy sauce, aromatics, and spices before being spread thinly over a breathable mat to a thickness of perhaps a few millimeters. These sheets are then baked at low temperatures in an oven until the moisture content has been lowered significantly. Can you believe I'm doing this right now? After reaching the appropriate level of dryness, the meat is now well on its way to being preserved. The sheets are then cut into squares in advance of the final step of the cooking process, roasting over a charcoal grill. If you're lucky enough to go shopping at Ling Kee while the bakwa is on the grill, you're in for an added treat. The smell is indescribable, and if you compare it to that of American barbecue, we're totally breaking up. This last crucial step in the preparation of bakwa gives Ling Kee's version its signature texture, crisp on the outside and edges, but soft and chewy through the middle. It also imbues the meat with a lovely charred flavor, which acts as the perfect foil against the sweet richness of the meat blend. In addition to the most popular pork option, Ling Kee offers bakwa made with chicken, beef, or shrimp. There are spicy versions of the pork, chicken, and beef, along with a curry version of the beef as well. This is one NYC Foodways endorsed business that I encourage you to go and try whatever piques your interest. I don't think there is necessarily a best option here, though my personal top 4 favorites are, in descending order, spicy pork, spicy chicken, regular pork, and regular chicken. That's it. A small shop offering a small range of items, all expertly crafted and cooked on site. Ling Kee Malaysian beef jerky is such a rich repository of culinary heritage that it must be protected at all costs. The shop is less than 100 square feet in size, but packs enough flavor to season even the blandest occasion. Their jerky makes a great gift for anyone into food, and I guarantee you will be heralded for bringing it to your next potluck, picnic, or dinner party. It's a hidden gem, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. Ling Kee is one of New York's quiet food miracles. This food, bakwa, made it to our fair city by way of Malaysia, by way of Fujian province, by way of humanity's need to preserve meat long before the advent of refrigeration. History so rich you can taste it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week for another episode of NYC Foodways. Peace. We don't back down easy.